Welcome to Wednesday Web Chat. This is Carl Lewis, your host for today's little program. And before we get started with today's demonstration about Crystal Reports Basics, today the topic is using formulas. So let's take a look right now over at SAP Business One, first of all. And I'm going to show you that in one of my menus here, I have a report called a commission report. CR stands for Crystal Report Commission Report. And this report gives me a list of invoices by salesperson, and it calculates a commission percentage. Now, what's important to notice here is that everyone in this report, if I go through the pages, has a 5% commission rate, except for one individual named Sophie Clogg. She has a 10% commission rate. And the report also calculates, as you can see on the far right side there, the commission for that particular invoice. It's basically another formula that multiplies the invoice total by the commission percentage to come up with the commission amount. So the question is, how did we do that? How did we calculate these commission percentages and commission amounts? Well, that's what a formula does in SAP Business One in Crystal Reports. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of sort of recreating that little commission report so that you'll have an idea how it's done. So first, I'm going to open Crystal Reports. I have it set up in my Start menu, as you can see. And as always, we need to get a connection. So I'm going to start a new blank report and create a new connection. It's called SAP Business One, interestingly enough, And I always have to be sure that my server is here, my licensed server, which is usually my server, a colon, and the number 30,000. My SQL version, or if I were running HANA, I would select that, of course. And then I can select my company database. There it is. I no longer need the SQL system administrator username and password. I just need my SAP Business One username and password, provided that I have a professional license and I'm a super user. And then, in just a few short seconds here, we will see that we'll get a connection. And there I have a connection, as you can see, to my SBO Demo US database. Now today, I'm going to go directly to tables in the DBO tree here and expand that and go into the tables section. And there are two tables that I want to use in this illustration today. One is OINV, which is invoices, and the other one is OSLP. And in this list, by the way, I'm just typing quickly the names of the tables. If I didn't know anything but the first letter, I could just type the first letter and it would find the first occurrence of that in the list for me, shortening my scrolling time dramatically, because there are about 1,700 tables now in SAP Business One. And so I'm going to add those two tables to my report. I can always check on how they're linked together, and if I really investigated the SLP code that's linking those two tables together, as you can see in OSLP, the SLP code is the primary key for that table. So I'm going to click OK, and as you'll notice, I now have my Field Explorer tree over here on the right, and I have those two tables, OINV and OSLP, available to me for this report. This report, I know, is going to need more space than a portrait, so I'm going to go to File, Page Setup, and turn this into landscape very quickly so that I have enough room to mess with here. So first things first, I'm going to get something out of my way. Put it down there, I suppose is good. And I'm going to expand the OINV table. And I suppose, so what would I want here? I probably am going to want to get the document number. So I've got the invoice number if I should want to reference it on the report. And I'm just dragging them in there. The document status, because I'm only going to pay commissions on invoices that are closed, so I'm not going to filter that, I guess. Maybe I want to have the date available to me, most likely, the top posting date, of course. Maybe the customer name I would like to have here, and the salesperson's name I'm probably going to have to get, but I'm not going to put that in the body of the report necessarily. I don't have to do that to break them into groups by the salesperson. And so I've got the total. Oh, that's what I need. I need the document total now if I'm going to make this work. So here we go, document total. Now, as you can see, I start running out of space really quickly, no matter what I do. So I'm going to quickly here just sort of adjust some spacing. I don't need that much room for the document total or the document status. So I'll slide that one over next to it, and a little less space. The posting date, I know that the format for this posting date is going to make it need more space. So I'm going to format that field, and notice it brings up my date possibilities. I'll choose this format for the date, so it doesn't need to be quite so long. And here now I can move over my customer name, and I can move over my document total. And if we preview this pretty quickly here, we can see that I'm starting to get some data in my report. I don't like my titles much, so I'm probably going to change those. And remember, to change those, I just kind of click in here, and I can delete the contents that are here, and then type what I want in the field. And I typically end up making these, another letter in that one I can see, typically end up making these bold in most cases. Hold down the control key and select them one by one and make them bold. Now that'll look a little bit better once I preview it, I'm sure. Yep, much better. So have all of those in there. Maybe we want to turn this one into currency. Here we are. So we'll make that look like money because it is. And now I need to create a couple of formulas. Now I know I have multiple salesperson that I'm going to report on. And people ask me frequently, say, well, you know, we have a pretty complicated commission formula because it's not the same for every salesperson. Sometimes different line items have different amounts, things like that. So what I'm going to show you is that you can compensate for some of that in a formula. So we're going to do it very simple so you get the idea. So I'm going to right-click on formula here. This is how you create one, and click New. And we're going to call this one Commission Percentage. Okay? So there we are. And down here, I'm going to say if. This is one example of how you could do a formula. Many other ways to do formulas here and to learn to create your own. Remember to always check Google. There's plenty of them. And every time you create a formula or find one, I encourage you to save it someplace because you'll come back to it for sure. So the field that I want to create this formula around is my salesperson field. So I'm going to come up here and expand this, go into SOS or OSLP, and I'm going to say if the SLP name equals Sophie Clog, then the commission percentage is going to be 0.03. Or else it's going to equal, let's do it a little easier so we can see it better. How about 10% for Sophie and just 5% for everyone else? So I'm going to check and be sure I've typed it correctly. I'm doing something, I don't need this, evidently. So no errors found. My formula looks okay, and I'm going to save it and close it. So now I have a formula, and I can bring the formula itself that I've created right into my report. And I can make that one bold just like the other titles. Looks like it needs a little more space, so I can do that. Commission percentage, and I'll take both of these and align them in the center. So now if I preview my report, I've got a percentage here that I can see. Now some of them should be 10, and I just saw one go by. There's one that's 10. So that means that Sophie Klog is the person who's the salesperson on that one. Here's another one that's 10. It's interesting that all of hers are 0 so far, but there's another one that's 0 and another one. So we'll see if Sophie's got some later on that actually have some dollar amounts in her invoices. But one last thing I need to do is, now that I know the percentage for each one of the invoices, because Sophie has a higher commission percentage than everyone else, how do I calculate it? Well, I can create another formula. Okay, just click New, and we'll call this one just commission total. And here we're going to choose to take a couple of things. First off, we have report fields here. I can use them out of there. So here is my doc total, and I can multiply it by my commission percentage. Let's see if that form is going to work. No errors found. So I can save it and close it. And now I can take the commission total and put it here on the report. So for each one now, I have a calculated total for each one of the invoices. Now, obviously, some other things that you would want to do in a report like this is I probably am going to want to filter it. And I'm only going to want to have invoices where the doc status, I double-clicked on doc status, is equal to C. So I've only got closed invoices. I don't pay commissions on invoices that aren't closed, so I no longer have any open ones in the list that's there because they're filtered out. And I probably am going to want to insert, I like to do this in the design screen, a group. So I'm going to go to the report menu again and the group expert. Now notice that the salesperson's name is not on my report anyplace yet. Right? So I'm going to do that at the group level. So I'll close up OINV, open SLP, and here's the salesperson's name, SLP name. So I'm going to group by the SLP name and click OK. So now I have a group. I need to give it a little more space in my group sections here, and that's going to start. So let's see what I get in my report now if I preview it. So it's starting Bill Levine here. Okay. That sort of makes sense to me that Bill is starting there. I like that. I just want to get it aligned a little better. So it looks good. There we go. But I don't have any totals yet in my report. So if I want to get a total for each person on the commission amount, I can right-click on the commission total calculation that we put in there, the formula, and right-click and have it go to Insert, Summary. And I'm going to add this summary to all group levels, which is going to mean for the salesperson and for grand total in this report. Right? So I now have a calculation at the salesperson's level and a calculation at the grand total for the report in the report footer. That's what RF stands for, right? But I might want to label them a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is insert some text very quickly, and this is how I like to do it. I draw a big text box and I type something like total commission for, and then I'll click out of that text box, and over here in my group name fields I take this, it's really the same thing that's up here for the salesperson, and I just drag it into my text box. You'll notice as soon as I get inside of it the cursor changes, and I can concatenate those two fields together. I can turn it bold just like the calculation and right justify it, and then I can line them up pretty nicely. Right? So they're both in there together. And when I run the report now, I see it's in Bill Levine, and if I come to page 3, I see a total commission for Bill Levine. Right? So that's something I can do. And then back over here, I might like to do the same thing for my grand total. So I could grab the insert text object again and draw a text box one at a time. And just type grand total, and I have to click on it first to right justify it, and I can turn that bold also. So if I go to the last page of the report, let's see, I have a grand total. It's out there, right? So that's a little bit about how I could do that. Now, of course, you know, the report that we saw earlier, other things that you most likely would want to do, of course, is to insert a logo probably in your report. So I have one that I use out here that I can put in my report like that. I can insert another text object over here and just type something like commission report. If I highlight this, turn it orange, make it bold, and just keep making it bigger until I'm happy with the size. It gets in my report. Here we are, commission report. I could do other things also, like the sort expert. I could say, you know what, I want these, I already have a group, so a group is in here already for the salesperson, but inside the group, what I think I want to do is sort them by customer. Right, so I'll sort them by customer ascending also. And if I preview it now, you can see that here's Bill Levine and there's ADA Technologies. Right. So one thing I forgot, I didn't turn that one bold in my report. So I'll go back over here and select that and make it bold. And there we go. So that's just quickly one thing about formulas, so that you can create them right here. And they can get pretty complicated, but we kept it simple just so you'll know how to do it. Now, one other thing I want to show you is that, you know, formulas can sort of be hidden all over the place, right? So here's an example of what I mean. So let's say I didn't necessarily want this commission percentage to be visible on the report. I just want to hide it. Well, when I right-click and go to Format Field, the Common tab, now I can just click Suppress and OK, and it's suppressed. Right? Still there, still working, still available for calculations, but definitely hidden in my report. Right? But what if I only wanted to hide it sometimes? Well, again, I can go right back to that same spot, Format Field, and the Common tab. Now here I want to uncheck that, suppress, but notice all these little boxes. These are potential places where formulas can live, and not just in formatting fields. They're all over the place in Crystal Reports. So it's really important that you check around to see where stuff is done. So here, if I wanted to hide something, I could do a very similar thing. I could put a formula right here and say, if, again, I could say salesperson's name equals Sophie Clog. I haven't tried to do this, right? See if it likes that. I don't think I need the if. No errors found. Save and close. So I've put a condition in here that is going to hide the commission amount if the salesperson is Sophie Clog. And notice when we go to Sophie stuff, it's hidden. Right? So there we are. That gives you an idea about how you can do several things with formulas in SAP Business One's version of Crystal Reports. Thanks for attending this week's version of Wednesday Web Chat. I just checking to see if there's any questions here, but I'm not seeing any today. So thank you much for being with me, and hope to see you again on another edition of Wednesday Web Chat.